All right. Welcome to another of the Patreon games. Today we're going to be playing a mono green deck by Jeffery Willig. Hope I said that name okay. But Jeffrey, I hope you enjoy the video, and I'll let you know what I think of the deck. Alright, so let's get a first look at it really quick. Starting out, it is a mono green Stompy deck. He does have, some Haship Oasis as a playset in here. One Memorial to Unity. I really like this card. I mean, it enters tapped, but you don't have to pay life or anything for that green mana. And you can pay 1 green and 2 colorless, sacrifice this, look at the top 5 cards of your library, and reveal a creature card from among them and put it in your hand. So you get the top 5 to find one of your creatures, and with a deck with 29 creatures, that shouldn't be that bad. Although I'm sure most of us have whiffed before with a collected company, so it could happen, but most of the time you're going to find a creature here. Now he is running 3 colorless lands in Zephyrin Void. Man, I'm sure. You know what? Sure. It allows you to scry when it enters the battlefield, but it doesn't enter tap. So it does give you a little bit of selection and help you look for lands if you need them, or pitch them if you don't want them. Also, scrying before you play something like a Merfolk Branchwalker is extremely synergistic. Now, let's start with the 1-drops here. He's got some protection spells to protect all of his green creatures, and it's a really good pump spell. I mean, 1 mana for +2/+2 and hexproof. Come on, you gotta love that. And then, of course, four copies of Land of War Elves. You can't play mono green right now without Land of War Elves, especially if you're going to run those 4 copies of Steel Leaf Champion that we're running here. Now, old Brash, the Brashing Throntodon, he has made it as a 4-set here, and with all the Ixalan's bindings and cards like that people are running, I can see him running this, especially when you don't have something like a Braid. But I mean, you could also get away with something like Naturalize, but this deck normally wants as many creatures as possible. I mean, we're even running 3 Narnum Renegades, so he's definitely wanting the Death Touch. He's wanting to be able to get in early, get in that additional chip damage. Narnum Renegade's actually really good at blocking or just putting the brakes on the opponent so that you can come over with a much bigger creature. Next here is 2 copies of Implement of Ferocity. Now this is not one that I expected to see, so I am going to read this out to you guys. It's a 1 mana implement. Now not all of them are 1 mana, but the red one, the white one, and the green one are all 1 mana. You can pay 1 green and sacrifice the implement and put a 1/1 counter on target creature. You can activate this ability only as a sorcery though, so that is something you definitely need to pay attention to if you're going to run this card. Is it's only a sorcery speed sacrifice. Now when the implement is sacrificed, like all the others, you draw a card. So if it were to be put into the graveyard by any means, you get to draw a card. Now if it's exiled, you do not get that card. I guess I should mention that there are 3 not Earthshaker, but Resilient Kenras here. Now this is a really good card for, just a pump, but you really don't want this on your turn 2. So I can see why he only runs 3 here. And one of the cards that I was excited about is Ronus's Monument, making all of our creatures much cheaper so that we can power out and go a little bit wider, dump our hand a little bit quicker, and get onto the battlefield and really pushing damage ASAP, especially if we get a chance to capitalize on our opponent, missing land drops or something like that. Sometimes this deck might be able to push so much damage so quick that they can't catch up. I mean, the deck can easily turn 4 a Verdurous Gearhulk, and that's even if they have killed the Land of War Elves. So, I mean, green creatures, and as far as I know, Verdurous Gearhulk is a green creature, even though it is an artifact. Also, Territorial Allosaur only being a 3-drop. A 3-drop for 5 is really, really good. And remember, Ronus's Monument gives everyone, every time you cast a creature, that it's going to give it that Resilient Kenra buff. Also, those creatures are going to gain trample. So this is a card that I was really excited that he's playing. So now every time that he plays a creature, not only are they going to cost less, but we're going to get a +2/+2 and trample on those creatures. Playing a bunch at one time could become quite devastating. All right. So next here, we know about the territorial allosaurs. So you know, Verdurous Gearhulk has a 3-of, great card, and then of course one copy of Galta. Now I think that he probably could have gotten away with a second copy of Galta, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in the future. Or towards the end of this on the wrap up. So let's look at the sideboard really quick. Now you'll notice that he only has 23 lands, and some of you may have been looking at these 3 lands in the sideboard. I don't 100% agree with the forest. I would probably take the forest out of the deck. And if I really thought that I wanted to run the Field of Ruin and the Scavenger Grounds, I would probably put those in place of the Scry lands. Now, it might be important to have the Scry lands. I haven't really played with it that much, but I think that if we're putting cards in the sideboard, it's either because we're wanting to have a really low curve and expect to have a much higher curve in the sideboard, but that's not really the case. We're already trying to cast, you know, Verdurous Gearhulk and things like that, and it may be in those cases where he takes the monument out, he wants to bring in a couple extra lands, and I can see that. But I don't really know about the forest, so we'll see what it's like. I think this could probably just be another Silent Gravestone. And Broken Bond here, I'm not a fan of the sorcery speed. Now Broken Bond is just like Naturalize, only you're going to get to ramp 1 card, so you can put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Now normally when you're running cards like Broken Bond, you're probably going to want to have more lands, and you know, J-Light Ranger and Field of Ruin and Scavenger Grounds and the Forest might come in handy there, and that might be kind of what he's got in mind. Nature Spiral, haven't played with this card much, but I always liked the buyback ability, where you can just return a permanent from the graveyard to your hand. And that's always kind of nice. I can see even games where you would be trying to return your desert. I personally don't really agree with these lands in the sideboard in a deck like this. Maybe if he was trying to go much larger in the sideboard, but he only has 2 really large cards here in the side, and that's Grun the Lonely King. Let's face it, Grun is awesome, so I wouldn't mind seeing Grunt. So I expect to bring this in out of the sideboard. I want to cast this card, so I hope I get a matchup where that's relevant. All right, so we're gonna jump into gameplay, and let's see what happens. We've got Willig's mono green. All right, here we go, guys. Don't worry, your preview will come back as soon as I can touch a card. Nico Swan 23. Nico Swan 23. Well, how about that? I know this guy. That's cool. So we need to go, hey Nick. Oh, hey. All right, well, we're on the play. We've got a friendly opponent here and a handful of land, so I'm gonna mulligan that. This is a horrible hand as well. These colorless lands biting us here. He said he's playing jank, that I would be proud. Let's mulligan this one more time. We'll keep this and kind of go from here. Alright, so we're going to keep this hand. Sure, we'll put that on top. Okay. So, let's just go ahead and play our... That might have been bad. I mean, I did know what was on top. Yeah, maybe that was a punt. Maybe I should have played that on too. To check to see what was on top for the Merfolk Branchwalker. Oh well. Alright, well, he plays a black land, a swamp, and passes. Verdurous Gearhulk. We're a long way from casting that. Let's put that in the grave. So, Fatal Push on our Merfolk. Hashep Oasis, and yeah, we'll make it a 4/4. Another Fatal Push? No, he's cycling. Okay, so we've got a Sultai deck here. We'll just play another and see if he has a kill spell. And yes, we will use the ability and move to combat. Oh. So he's going to Field of Ruin, go get a double black. Okay, so I expect he's trying to get Vraska's Contempt going. Fatal Push. Look at him. There we go. Alright. The Revolt. Like, did he need to revolt that, or did he just revolt anyway? How much does this cost to bring back? 6? Oh no! So we'll go ahead and bring this back. And, I mean, we'll swing at the Scarab God here. So he can bring back our Branchwalker. Ooh, our Verdurous Gearhulk. Oh, yes. Forgot that was there. That's bad for us. Very bad. The 7/7, the Scarab God. Yep, well, the Scarab God still beats most things, so... Walking Ballista for 1. Okay, and we get a land... We'll sacrifice it. So he can block and shoot, or he can just... Okay. I don't see a way that we could really pull out of this. I mean, if he swung out, maybe? He would have to swing out, and we would need to hit something, I guess. He could pump, shoot, bring... he doesn't have enough to pump, shoot, and bring back, so... we're looking at 6. Yeah, we definitely have to block. The Scarab God, man. It's just been brutal. walking ballista. And he's going for lethal. Right, well, that'll do it. I mean, he's got 7 and 6 is 13, so we're at 11, we're dead. Okay, so Silent Gravestone's definitely coming in here. Scavenger Grounds is coming in. You know, I just really want to run this Grun. I don't think he's going to have a lot of enchantments, so I'll back off on a couple Brontodons and a Verdurus. I have found that Verdurus is very dangerous against the Scarab God, and we just seen one of those cases. So we'll run like this, see what happens. Hopefully we don't mulligan to 5, so we can put more power on the battlefield and kind of go from there. Okay, so we've got some lands. Yeah, let's do this. I mean, we don't have the awesome draw of a Land of War Elf on 1. I guess I should have played this. Okay, well, I mean, I'm going to take damage for it, and so do we get down the Still Leaf or the... Oh, wow. I mean, Allosaur is bigger than Still Leaf. But we can do Still Leaf Champion and Silent Gravestone. So now we're pushing some damage, I guess. Let's see what he's got. Lifecrafter's Bestiary. All right. Let's just cast this and go to work. If we can get some lands, we can get Grun down. We just need a land in the next 2 turns. Next turn we can play, you know, Land of War Elf here. Okay. All right. There's Brash. He'll have to use that on this, but okay. So we can Merfolk Branchwalker and a Land of War Elf here. We'll see if we can find a land. There's our land. I mean, we get to swing for a lot. I mean, if he wants to stop the 5/5 or the 5/4, he can. I assume that he wants to stop, you know, the most damage that he can stop. So. Do we want to throw down Grun the Lonely King? Yeah, he scooped up. He scooped it up. All right, let's get into the next game. Blossoming Defense, I definitely like that here. Just having the Gravestone was awesome. And we did hit our Land of War Elves, so we got to ramp. We got to really start going. I'm going to take out 1 Grun. I don't want to bring this back in, but I'm going to. On the draw, maybe I shouldn't. On the draw, maybe I should go Jade Light Ranger. A couple Jade Lights, give us a couple more cards. But also throwing cards in our graveyard's not exactly what we want against the Scarab God. So I guess we bring it back in. Alright, here we go. All right. So we've got Renegade into Branchwalker, Resilient Kenra. Yeah, we'll keep. I mean, I may just Kenra next turn since we already have some lands. Swing 3. All right. I'm sure you guys can see our little conversation there. No black mana. I kind of like that. Let's hit for 3 here. 3 on turn 2 just sounds good to me, so let's try it. Oh wow, is he? We can leave that on top. We've got double Branchwalker next turn, so I mean we're sure to hit a land maybe. I mean we start dipping or dumping. He just missed a land. Yeah, he missed a land. He's hurt bad, and I don't think Mr. Willig's deck's gonna let up on him. I know I'm not gonna stop casting the spells, so we're just gonna. We're just going to keep pushing. I mean, this is his land, so, I mean, he can't really block with it. I mean, he needs this for a black source, so... Good games to Mr. Nico. Nico, if you see this, hey man, good games. Thanks for the chat, and I'm loving the move. I'm proud I'm in Mississippi and I'm back home. So thank you very much for your concerns, and man, I'm glad your daughter is doing well. 9 months old? Awesome, awesome. Let's go talk about this deck, guys. It's cool to see friends, like real life friends I have on Magic Online, and that's always cool. So, all right, let's talk about the deck a little bit. It ran great. I mean, we ran into the Scarab God, and that got a little scary. It took a game from us, and we didn't get to play with the Implement of Ferocity or the Ronus's Monument. Personally, though, Implement is one of the cards that I thought could be traded out for something else. I think that you could probably get away with just throwing, I don't know, almost like another Galta in here is something I wouldn't be opposed to. But the Implement's not a bad card either. It's going to let you draw. I kind of like a one-of big spell in decks like this. And the one that comes to mind is Rishkar's Expertise. And I know a lot of people don't play... I'm sure I butchered Rishkar's... Oh... Is it Rish? Yeah, there we go. Rishkar's Expertise. I mean, you draw cards equal to the greatest power among creatures you control, and then you get to drop a 5-drop or less onto the battlefield. That means Verdurous Gearhulk, Torrential Allosaur, or something like that. Another card that you could actually consider in this deck would be to maybe cut back 1 Torrential and cut back these 2 Implements of Ferocity and throw in 2 Ripjaw or 3 Ripjaw Raptors. Now, that would increase your 4-drops a lot, but I think the deck can handle it, honestly. So I like the deck. I like everything you've got going on here. I think that you could probably get away with removing the Forest out of the sideboard and just throwing in an extra copy of Heroic Intervention. Now, Heroic Intervention is really only going to be great against those mono white decks. So, I mean, you could actually free up a spot from there. So, I mean, you could get rid of the Forest, and I think you could just run this deck with... yeah, I mean, I know that I butchered the field, and some people are playing the field. And if you wanted to play 2 fields and run it like that, you could probably get away with that as well. I do think that you just want 24 lands. I mean, just a flat out 24 lands would be quite nice. The Implement of Ferocity, again, you could take that out if you want. I think that you could get away with running a couple more 4-drops. You have a lot of, you know, creature cost reduction here with the Ronus's Monument and the Llanowar Elves. I mean, no, I know Llanowar Elves is not really cost reduction, but it is one of those cards that is it's going to give you more mana. So, wow. Tongue-tied, right? Anyway, I do like the deck. I do think that we need like one more copy of Galta. But Mr. Willig, you had an awesome deck. We crushed a personal friend, and you know, that's always nice to beat your buddies in Magic, right? All right, guys. My name's Eric. I hope you've enjoyed the deck. I know that I've had a lot of fun playing it, and we'll see you next time here on Sideboard MTG.